start setting up. Gabriel definitely seems like he has the home advantage. You can hear the crowd rooting for the Brazilian player.
Home court advantage up against the new hotness on the block in Iron Valiant EX paired with that Entei V and all of those fire energies. Magma Basin going to be putting in a ton of work throughout the entire weekend for Noah.
I think it's going to be a war of attrition precisely between the stadiums, right? Because Path to a Peak shuts down Noah's deck basically completely. So the other important question here is, do you choose to go first or second as Gabriel? And at this point, both players definitely know what sort of deck they are up against, even if they don't know the exact list that they are using. However, as you mentioned, LAIC top 4 now, the biggest achievement for Gabriel.
Yeah, good job. All right. Meanwhile, Noah Sawyer, top 16 NAIC 2019, like you were saying, just shy of that top 8, top 16 Pittsburgh Regional just this year. Fort Wayne Regional finalists, hoping for that big win. Iron Valiant EX, one of the best new cards to come out of Paradox Rift up against Lost Zone, Giratina V-Star, utilizing the best card in the set, Counter Catcher.
Best card in the set, Counter Catcher. Indeed, I'm glad we've finally come to an agreement, Jeremy. And you've reivindicated yourself in my eyes. Earthen Vessel, pretty powerful, but also a little too specific. Counter Catcher, though, that's the real big winner from Paradox Rift, I feel.
Yeah, coming back from the ashes of expanded.
Yeah. It was a card we had access to before, and it was just as impactful before as it has been this weekend. Maybe a little less so. Maybe it's like the brand new shiny toy, and that's why I have a soft spot for it. Maybe it's because I was right, but I'm not so sure. I feel like Counter Catcher has felt more impactful right now than it used to be.
Now with that flip before the start of the game, it does look like Gabriel's going to go first. A couple grass energy in the prize cards. That leaves one left to try and take some knockouts with Giratina. Meanwhile, 2 Magma Basin and a Jet energy along with 2 Professor's Research for Noah in the prize cards.
I can't imagine the Professor's Research will be too impactful, but not being able to counter Path to Peak will be very important in case Noah isn't able to do so in a turn. Does play a copy of Lost Vacuum, so 5 total ways to counter those Path to Peak, and Gabriel also only plays 3 Path to Peak, so not full odds for him, but any turn where Noah isn't using Tachyon Bits, that's going to be less than ideal for him as we get this started.
Top 4 here in Sao Paulo. Gabriel up against Noah. Gabriel starts with the Comfey. Flower selecting, eyes down a Colress's Experiment and a Psychic Energy. No Corals in hand, so you have to expect that's going to be the choice here.
Certainly. Now, I'm more worried that there's only a Sableye in play, or in Gabriel's hand, and he has to bench that. Otherwise, he risks just losing the game to Tachyon Bits. And, I mean, even if Gabriel survives this turn, if Noah is able to successfully use Tachyon Bits 4 times this turn, no more Comfey, and then your only hope is the Colress Experiment.
Gabriel using that Jet energy to bring the Sableye up to the active spot. And now it is back to Noah. Definitely not the start you want to hope for against a deck that is built to really take advantage of your low HP Pokemon.
Jeremy, we could see an easy win. That Battle VIP Pass top deck from the Fleet-Footed. Incredible. If Noah is able to power up the Entei and use Tachyon Bits 4 times this turn, we could see a 1-turn game here.
Eyeing down that Metacham V as well. Who needs to use 4 Tachyon Bits? We can use 3 and a Yoga Loop. And we know in the hand there is a Forest Sealstone, so that's another card that can help extend this turn. You have that Squawk ability EX with its Squawk and Seize, being able to discard your hand, draw 6. This is going to be an electrifying turn, and Miraidon's on the other side of the bracket.
I'm not liking this position for Gabriel. Definitely less than ideal. needs one more tachyon bit, needs to research away the fires which lead themselves to the magma basin, which is fantastic.
7 cards. Couple switch cards. That's going to help a lot. Nest Ball.
Uh-oh. I think Noah is very close. He can force Seal Stone for the double turbo. Get the knockout on the bench. Sableye has his 2 switch cards. Only really missing the magma basin, which he'll have an immediate next turn and a research in hand to dig for that, along with the attachment as well.
There's the switch card. Tachyon bits yet again. Again, when it's brought to the active during your turn, you get to place 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. There is another switch card, and just like that, Sableye has 6 damage on it, and we're going to squawk and seize here. Discard that hand, draw 6.
Needs a way to switch, and, well, no, he needs to switch or double turbo.
Wow.
Finds both.
Escape Rope brings the Medicham V to the active spot. Double turbo energy. We are going to have a Yoga Loop on the Sableye, and just like that, Noah taking a knockout turn 1, and we get to do it all over again. Magma Basin charges up the NTV. Justin Energy will be able to finish things off. There's the Star Alchemy, Jet Energy, and taking game 1 in exciting fashion. Noah Sawyer up 1-0 in this top 4.
Iron Hands, move over. Yeah, Roaring Moon, move over. Iron Valiant is where it's at. Turn 1 win after that underwhelming start for Gabriel. Managed to find another basic Pokemon, but that was not good enough. You need those Giratina Vs to withstand those hits. And Noah, I mean, this is what his deck is built for.
Yeah.
This turbo start.
I think we probably should have realized, with the giveaway being the special illustration rare Iron Valiant EX, that it should have been performing pretty well this weekend.
Maybe Pokemon knew all along.
It's scripted.
It's totally scripted. Get your Iron Valiant, people. Did you just see what I saw? Like, please get it.
Yeah, everyone's going to be playing this at League when I get back, and I am not going to be having a fun time.
Indeed. What a card. What a game we just watched. 2 turns, but by the same player. No, 3 turns. 3 turns total. 2 by 1 player. Back to back. That Yoga Loop. Medicham V is a card that was released, what, over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's still putting in work.
Yeah, usually you see it with the Rapid Strike Toolbox Italian VMAX and that Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, but here it is all on its own and being put to work.
Okay, so not on screen yet. Gabriel did choose to go first and did top deck Battle VIP pass. Otherwise, he had nothing else in his hand. We could have seen another turn 1 game. Eyeing up the Comfey and the Greninja, I really fancy a Giratina V here.
Yeah, just that big HP to sit in play and kind of guarantee that you're going to have another turn.
Giratina V, the most important card here to get, the most bulky basic. Double Comfey is fantastic. You get cards in the Lost Zone. Radiant Greninja, great to help you set up, but you need to establish Giratina V. That's how you really survive. I honestly would have liked double Giratina V. Just keep your bench as low as possible. Get those Abyss Seekings going. That's how you draw cards. You get a little bit of extra help with flower selecting, but you make your opponent's Tachyon bits ineffective and the Fire Rondo ineffective as well.
What a 2 cards to pull off that concealed cards though. Nest Ball and a Comfey. So Nest Ball can go fetch something like that Giratina V like you've been saying, and a 3rd Comfey can help with these flower selectings, try to charge up that special 7 cards in the Lost Zone so you can get a Mirage Gate going as soon as possible.
Indeed, Mirage Gate to power up Giratina is very, very important. A Giratina V-Star can be very difficult for Noah to deal with, so that should be in Gabriel's sights here to be able to withstand all that pressure. Sableye, not the most useful card when every single Pokemon your opponent plays has 200 HP or more. Radiant Charizard is the one Pokemon that has the least amount of HP, and that's 160, so Sableye not going to have a good time here.
Jet Energy going to bring up that Comfey from the bench. Flower selecting yet again. Eyes down, Lost Vacuum, and a Mirage Gate. the hand is not doing too well. Double Roxanne, Path, and then Energy decides to keep the Mirage Gate. You have a switch card to go along with it, and that third Comfey.
Now the key card in Gabriel's hand is the Path to a Peak. That Path to a Peak will completely halt all of Noah's abilities. No Squawkabilly, no Tachyon bits. So will Noah be able to counter that immediately? And will Gabriel play it immediately? That's another question, as we find a very difficult decision.
I don't think it's too difficult, Pablo. No Colress's Experiment in the hand means that goes straight there. Giratina V to the Lost Zone. While the extra HP is very beneficial, playing the game is also very beneficial.
Playing the game is also very beneficial. Wow. The Path to a Peak gets immediately countered. Battle VIP pass in hand. So we're about to see a very, very impactful turn by Noah here. Might even see back-to-back attacks or back-to-back turns through the Yoga Loop, right? But every Pokemon that Noah knocks out is less damage that Entei will do to the Giratina V. So it definitely is important to balance between damaging those Comfeys and getting those easy prizes, whilst slowly but surely damaging the Giratina V in order to make sure that Burning Rondo can get to those numbers.
Well, here we see a Nest Ball finding that Entei V to go along with the Battle VIP Pass that found the second Iron Valiant EX and the Squawkabilly EX. I do believe that there is a future booster energy capsule in hand, one of the new tools that is able to attach to a future Pokemon and give it free retreat. Well, there's a switch. We're going to see the first Tachyon bits, 20 on that Comfey. There's that future booster energy capsule. And a Squawk and Seas discarding the fire. This is turning out pretty crazy. Double switch cart, another Iron Valiant, and then you have a double turbo energy. So we could still see some fireworks.
Indeed, a lot of switching cards, though this fleet-footed could be very important because Noah did not find a draw supporter in order to continue finding more resources. So I think Noah recognizes that he's not going to be able to do much, so eliminating the Giratina now just leaves those low HP Pokemon available for the taking.
And with the escape rope here, I do like Gabriel bringing up that Comfey. But the third Iron Valiant will target down that Giratina V yet again. Double turbo energy on Entei V. And I do believe there's a boss's orders in hand. And with all the bench Pokemon, that will be enough for the Entei to take a knockout. Fleet-footed here. Force Seal Stone for next turn.
Oh my gosh. Can't do anything he wants next turn. Noah takes this knockout, compensating for the double turbo damage reduction. It's 200 damage right now with the Pokemon in play. Minus 20 from the double turbo. It's 180 damage exactly to knock out this Giratina V. So you can see how Noah knows these numbers, knows the perfect math. And now, no more Giratina. No big deal, and this is precisely why you want to keep your bench low. All those Comfeys are great to draw cards, but you need to focus a lot more on Giratina V and a Beast Seeking so that you're out of range of this, and precisely this doesn't happen.
And now getting rid of that Giratina V is looking worse and worse. Granted, it was for Colress's Experiment, which I think without it, Gabriel wasn't really going to be playing this second turn much at all. Eyeing down a Cramorant, a Colress's Experiment, and then I think a Jet and a Psychic Energy.
Yep, Colress. Interesting decision here, losing the Jet, keeping valuable resources, but this is why what I meant with the difficult decision between the Colress and the Giratina. Doesn't seem like Gabriel was considering this low bench Giratina V strategy. Being one game down, there's no more room to help with that. But unless there's another path to a peak found, which Noah could immediately counter through the Force Seal Stone, things are not looking good here for our Brazilian player.
Concealed cards finds, I believe, an Escape Rope and a Jet Energy. Flower selecting, gonna grab that Sableye, get rid of that Battle VIP Pass. 6 in the Lost Zone now.
Sableye might as well be a Battle VIP Pass in this matchup, honestly. Like, it's as useful as a Battle VIP Pass here. No Giratina being able to be benched just yet. No path to a peak either to try and slow down those Tachyon beats. Even the fleet-footed, right? We saw how powerful fleet-footed can be. Maybe there's a world where you can use Radiant Greninja to deal damage to NTV through weakness, and then do a cool Sableye play while setting up other things as well, but gosh, it's not looking great for our Brazilian player. Doesn't have any threats established. The Greninja is a threat because of weakness, but doesn't really quite cut it in terms of the damage, and Noah's just waiting to use Tachyon Bits, take down those Comfeys. No room for Yoga Loop though.
No room for Yoga Loop, and honestly, with the way Gabriel's hand has been, I think it's going to be like that for a little bit. You do have Mirage Gate, a water energy found off that last flower selecting and escape rope, but if you escape rope the NTV back to the bench, you're not going to get that extra 9 damage thanks to weakness.
2 water energy available, so Moonlight Shuriken definitely an option that Gabriel can go for. Doing 180 damage to the Entei, leaving it with 30 HP left over. 30 onto the Entei, 90 to something like Squawk ability. Could set up a 4-price turn over the next 2 turns, and that would be very, very powerful.
Both those energies on the Radiant Greninja now. Can that be forced to attach the water energy if you want to use Moonlight Shuriken?
No, the issue is that there's only an escape rope in Gabriel's hand, so by using that, and if that's your plan, then probably don't want to play the Mirage Gate before you escape rope, as now the Entei will not be in the active. Your damage output will be less. If you're hitting the Entei for weakness, you're doing a total of 270 damage. If you're not attacking the Entei, you're only doing 180 total, which doesn't set up the nice numbers that you would like for the follow-up with Sableye.
Radiant Greninja to the active. We're still awaiting an attachment for the turn.
I feel like I would have preferred to attack with Cramorant here, because Radiant Greninja is pretty useful against that Entei and also requires so many resources. So maximizing your damage output, maximizing the damage counters in play, I think would be very, very important. I would have really loved to see the Cramorant be the one to damage the active, and then perhaps you can win over the course of 3 turns. You then follow up with Radiant Greninja, 90 on the Squawk, 180 on the Entei, then you use Sableye to KO those, and then you use Sableye again to finish off the Iron Valiant.
Well, Noah's going to start things off with a switch cart, bring up that Iron Valiant EX with that feature booster energy capsule, 20 on Comfey, and then able to free retreat into another one if he wants. Fire energy on that Radiant Charizard, still has that 4 Sealstone, but got a Professor's Research from the prize cards. So seeing a brand new hand of 7 here, just a wealth of options for Noah.
Indeed, finds a lot of supporters though, not much else, not a lot of switching cards, so we're not going to see maximum Tachyon Bits damage this turn. I'm also a little scared about that other Magma basing hitting the discard pile, as Path to a Peak is still a threat for Noah. Path to a Peak does completely eliminate Tachyon Bits and also makes it so Radiant Charizard could have a really, really difficult time attacking.
Fleet-footed finds, I believe, Jet Energy. And we're going to have a knockout here on the Radiant Greninja. And just like that, 2 turns, 3 prizes for Noah.
2 turns, 3 prizes. The dream, especially eliminating that Giratina V threat. We see a Giratina V top deck, but the bench is still pretty big. It might have been a Giratina V-Star, though. I can't really tell from this angle. A big hand, can Roxanne. Roxanne Path could maybe help in this situation, but even a Cramorant hit cannot take the knockout on Entei because it has 230 HP.
It's a bulky Pokemon.
It's a bulky Pokemon indeed, the bulkiest of the legendary trio, which I don't know if you've seen, but generates a lot of debate. Are they cats or are they dogs? I'm pretty sure they're cats, but people argue they're dogs.
I'm pretty sure they're the legendary dogs.
What?
Yeah.
What is a saber-tooth?
Dog.
Oh my gosh.
Nest ball for Gabriel here. He's going to look through the options he has in the deck. And honestly, this is looking scarier by the minute. Has another Giratina V, but I believe it might be the last one.
Does he though? Because I'm not. Oh, there it is.
It's at
It
the
is.
top,
It's
yeah.
at the very end of the deck. Needs to bench that. Needs to set that up. Needs to somehow attack. Like if you go Cramorant, attack the Entei into Sableye. I guess taking down the Entei with Sableye also works. Does have the path for a next turn Roxanne plus path to a peak play, and Noah's Field looks very threatening, but once that Entei is gone and there's a path to a peak in play, Noah's Field is all of a sudden filled with Battle VIP passes.
All right, I think I'm getting some help there. Legendary beasts. So that encompasses dogs, cats, what you call it.
So all mammals?
All mammals, basically, yeah. Flower selecting from this Comfey here. Getting rid of Battle VIP Pass. We are now at 10 in the Lost Zone, so the Sableye will be able to Lost Mine the Entei V for a knockout. But Noah only needs 3 prize cards left.
Gabriel eyeing up the path to a peak, eyeing up the switch card to heal the damage on the Comfey, but I really don't like the path to a peak. Be patient, save it for when you're Roxanne, and then maybe that's how you can turn this game around. Chooses to go for another Comfey, getting the 11th card in the Lost Zone.
And we're going to see Jet Energy bring up that 3rd Comfey. Flower selecting yet again. Colress's Experiment, Mirage Gate. You don't really need Colress anymore. You're going to be using Roxanne for the foreseeable future.
Yep. To Roxanne, we could see back-to-back Roxanne, as Gabriel will be able to take this prize card. Very tempting to play that path to a peak to prevent a follow-up Entei. I really would love to see a Giratina V hit the bench here. Not possible though.
Yet opted to fail the Nest Ball.
Yep.
Gabriel really debating about benching this Cramorant. Does opt for it.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. If the follow-up is Radiant Charizard, then you can two-hit KO that, because Radiant Charizard cannot attack in back-to-back turns. Does seem like he held onto that path to a peak. Very important. 12 damage counters onto the Entei. No.
Oh,
1 damage
okay.
counter onto the Entei, putting it in Cramorant range,
Yep.
which is fair. Maybe you knock out the Squawk this turn, and then you go into the Roxanne path, KO the active, and hopefully no easy KO. 6 more on the Squawk, so that's 10 HP away from getting taken down. 160 HP total. Has 5 damage counters left, which is perfect on the Radiant Charizard. That way it's in range of Cramorant as well.
That is, but you also need to think about the prize mapping, and if you're going to take a knockout on two prize Pokemon, you just need 1 more. So softening up that Iron Valiant EX on the bench with that remaining 50.
You do have to balance the price mapping and trying to win as fast as possible by going 2-2-2. However, if your opponent doesn't have any threats set up, right, which the threat is Radiant Charizard, then that's a way you can win as well. Yeah, even if it takes a little bit longer than you would like. If there's no Pokemon for your opponent to attack you with, then that's pretty good. Yeah, attacking bits can get you somewhere, but right now there's not enough to even KO a single Comfey. So I really would have liked to see that perfect number on the Charizard, because one thing Noah's deck is good at is switching out and switching in from the active, and that's exactly what Radiant Charizard needs in order to be able to have back-to-back attacks.
Bravery Charm is going to be a pretty good card in this scenario, especially with the way Gabriel placed the damage counters. It's going to mean it's harder to take that knockout on multiple Pokemon. And we're going to start things here with a switch. Tachyon Bits. Now there's 40 on the Comfey. And one thing I do like about Gabriel not taking a knockout, it does not open up a bench spot for Medicham V to use that Yoga Loop. And I think if there was a Yoga Loop used, it's pretty much going to be game over.
Yep, as soon as we see a Yoga Loop, that would probably finish up the game. That's also probably why Noah chose not to attach that double turbo energy to the Radiant Charizard. I would have also loved to see that, just to get closer to attacking, even if there is a path to a peak in play.
There is the Burning Rondo knocking out the Sableye. Gabriel is going to need a lot of cards to be able to try to mount this comeback. 2 to 6 prizes, but you have a good combo to start things off. Path to the Peak and Roxanne.
Finds a Forest Seal Stone, which would be great, except there's no Pokemon to use it with. And chooses to Flower Select before we hit that Roxanne. Does have Jet Energy to go into another Comfey, does have the Path, does have the Roxanne, does even have the Counter Catcher in order to use that later down the line. It's gonna be difficult, but Gabriel can definitely mount a comeback here. It's gonna come down to the cards that Noah draws from this Roxanne, and I do believe he's running low on the supporter count.
Yeah, has gone through a ton of discards with Professor's Research and Colress's Experiment, the like. Here is Jet Energy bringing up a Comfey to use Flower Selecting yet again if Gabriel wants to. And we see Path to the Peak, that powerful Stadium card hit the board, shutting off all those Iron Valiant, EX, Entei Vs, Fleet-Footed, and the Radiant Charizard's Excited Heart ability. Countercatcher does bring up that Iron Valiant EX with 50 damage. And I think we might be seeing a Roxanne and Prey here, maybe finding another Sableye.
I don't like that Countercatcher. You need to eliminate threats. You knock out the Entei. Noah has 2 cards. What are they doing? But now that you've sent that Entei to the bench, all Noah needs is to find a single switching card, a Jet Energy, even a double Turbo, and he will be able to continue applying the pressure and taking knockouts. Not a big fan of that Countercatcher. Combined with Sableye knockout on the Entei on the bench, fair. Definitely would have liked that, but wow.
That is a hand. Professor's Research and Battle VIP Pass. Meanwhile, Gabriel is not so fortunate, staring a hand of 2 Giratina V-Stars, another Roxanne, Mirage Gate. No way to get Sableye out. We're going to have to maybe Flower Selecting it again. No, we're going to get that Cramorant in the active. Spit innocently, 110 damage on that Iron Valiant EX.
Can I see that Research? Top deck Colress. I would have loved to see the Colress before the Research. Yes, you can win this turn, but do you need to? You have such a big advantage. We see the switching card. We see the Stadium. Is that enough? I don't think so.
The Stadium will be able to bump that Path to the Peak. Noah's going to look at the resources left available to him. Seems like 3 switch, 2 switch cart, and an escape rope are gone, and he is playing the full 12. So still plenty of resources left in the deck. Magma Basin bumps that Stadium. We do have that future booster energy capsule. Can attach it to the active, give it free retreat. But we still haven't even used Star Alchemy. Searching the deck for what looks like an escape rope here. I guess switch cart could also be pretty beneficial, heal off some of that damage.
Indeed. Now, if we see a knockout on the Comfey, like, can we?
I think this
here?
is it.
It should be, right? So you attach the tool, retreat.
Yep.
No.
Well, no. So you get the switch to the one that already has the tool.
Yep. Retreat.
You need another one.
Oh, yeah, you do need another one.
Maybe fleet-footed?
Maybe fleet-footed.
No, then you would have to switch to that one.
Yeah, yeah. So can't win this turn. So then maybe save the Forest Seal Stone in case your opponent Roxanne's you again.
I guess you can always hit one off the prize cards. There's 2 prize cards left. Be interesting to see what those 2 cards are.
So are we gonna see a retreat? Well, I guess the Entei will probably go down this turn. Can he get the card? No. Earthen Vessel, the not best card of Paradox Rift being drawn here.
I'm getting bullied.
No energies left in the deck to be taken. Perfect thinning though, and more energy stacked onto the Radiant Charizard, I have to imagine. To the point where if Radiant Charizard has 4 energies attached, right? Or if it had the double turbo that was available earlier, then all of a sudden, who cares if there's a Path to a Peak? Nothing survives the Radiant Charizard Combustion Blast. No attachment though.
No attachment from the hand, but you do take the knockout on the Cramorant. Jet energy pulled from the prize cards. And it is all or nothing for Gabriel here. Finally gets that Giratina V, but it is too little too late for that Pokemon now.
So we see a Roxanne in the hand. We do indeed. So no attacker though. We do see the Super Rod. Needs to put back the Cramorant, but look at everything that happened. Yeah, the attacker remained alive. That Entei should have gone down 2 turns ago. Yeah, then you're forcing your opponent not only to find resources in order to use Tachyon Bits, you're also forcing them to find the resources in order to produce another attacker. Of course, Noah drew the research, found the stadium, but there's a chance they don't. And the more cards you force your opponent to find, yeah, the better. By not knocking out the Entei, all you're telling them is find a switching card, which you play 12 of, and you're good to go. So take down the threat.
Super Rod here is going to put back Sableye, a Psychic, and a Grass. Remember, this is the game where Gabriel prized 2 Grass Energy as well. And then here is that Roxanne. Noah's going to go down to 2 cards. Gabriel's going to go to 6.
We've seen a lot of switching cards gone, so can Gabriel actually even find an attack here? Put back the Sableye, put back energy, so probably has the resources to potentially attack with Sableye this turn, but with no path to a peak, Radiant Charizard could finish the game.
Yeah, as soon as you take those prize cards, that Radiant Charizard is going to be locked and loaded, ready to use that Combustion Blast. There's the Sableye Mirage Gate. So Mirage Gate will be able to charge up to Sableye.
Path. No path. So Gabriel found the counter catcher. Gabriel needs to bring up a Pokemon that cannot retreat or cannot attack. But now, if they go after anything, they take a knockout, Radiant Charizard wins the game. As long as there's a switching card. If they don't take a knockout, Entei V wins the game. As long as there's a switching card. I did not get to see what Noah drew, but I think the writing's on the wall. And even any switching card, Tachyon Bits, knockout Comfey, and that's it.
All right, Countercatcher brings up that heavily damaged Iron Valiant EX, hoping to stick it in the active spot here. And looking at the hand for Noah, does not have it. Magma Basin and Medicham V.
Indeed, Magma Basin and Medicham V, neither card very useful, so gets the ropes Noah a little bit, but does have time, does have a few top decks left, and now we'll have to see. Does take the knockout, now irrelevant, right? Any switching card wins Noah the game. So might as well take the prizes now that you can. That was 6 damage counters on the Squawk, 6 left, 6 more on the Entei, 50 HP left. Not
Big
enough to win next turn, though.
for Noah here.
Entei V, not quite what he needs.
All right, so there is 50 left on the Entei V on the bench, and there is 70 left on, no, 90 left. So just another turn of hoping and praying that Noah does not draw one of those 3 escape rope in the deck.
There was a Jet Energy as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Jet Energy, escape ropes,
switch card,
switch card,
switch,
research, Taurus, so many possibilities. And this is where I question Noah's use of the Forest Seal Stone. Imagine if you had that available this turn, or you would have forced Gabriel to knock out the Entei earlier. Not so sure.
Watch, it's going to be a Technical Machine Devolution off the top.
And
switch card. And
that's
there
it.
you go. Tachyon Bits taking the knockout on the Comfey on the bench, and then retreating to that Radiant Charizard, taking the knockout.
finals once again.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming back from NAIC where we had an NA finals once again. NA needs to calm down.
Honestly, yeah, the Toronto area in specific has been on fire this season, taking down a ton of regional championships and just proving their worth in the field of Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah. Players from all around the globe are fantastic, but Toronto, something in that water. Yeah, they do really well. However, when it was their home turf, what happened?
US. And congratulations to Gabriel again, an amazing accomplishment. Top 4 in his first major top 4 in an event, and doing it in his home country of Brazil.
That must feel like extra special, you know, like